Hello, welcome to another edition of Club Shay Shay. I am your host, Shannon Sharpe. I'm also the proprietor of Club Shay Shay, and the guy that's stopping by for conversation and a drink today is one of the most recognized stars on the planet. He's a world-famous actor, multi-talented TV host, sitcom star, comedian, talented artist, best-selling author, children's books illustrator, advertising pitchman, human rights activist, Hollywood A-lister, one of the fittest celebrities on the planet, 3 times People's Sexiest Man of the Year. His acting career spanned 4 decades, awarded a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a caring husband. I think you're a grandfather too now.
That's it. Yes.
Proud father, Greater Flint African-American Sports Hall of Fame inductee, NFL alum, good friend of mine, Terry Crews. T. Crews, what's up, man?
Oh, man.
Had you given football what you given your entertainment career, do you think you would have been better at it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it was too little too late.
Right.
You know, once you start tooling around, also how I came in in the 11th round.
Right.
So
it was 12 rounds back then. It's not it was 12 rounds back then.
People are looking now, they're like, 11 rounds? No, no, that's way back. Which is basically a glorified free agent.
Mm-hmm.
But I had some people who believed in me. I was a hustler. And that's another thing too. I couldn't catch, I couldn't throw. My ability was the ability to take tremendous amounts of pain.
Right.
I was a special teamer. I was that guy
wedge
that would just blow up the wedge. They didn't even have a wedge anymore. Okay, but I was the guy they was like, he's giving it up every time, and that would make me stick on a team.
Right.
But then when it came down to play and doing the thing, it was
to being a linebacker and hold a specific position.
I had to be, and this is the thing. It took years for me to realize that and to come to grips with that, because you always like, I know I was good enough, because of your own pride.
Right.
But then when you look back and you're like, man, there were people that was just better. They were willing to do more. But then once I got in entertainment, I realized that's the key.
That's what it was meant to be.
That's the secret. When he told his brothers, hey, one day y'all all gonna bow down to me. And they was like, oh, really? And they sold it.
Right.
I used to tell people what my dreams were all the time. I was like, I want to be on TV. I want to do movies. I want to make movies. I want to draw. I want to do this. And they were looking at me like I was from another planet. They're like, hey, man, you in Flint.
Right.
What are you talking about? You are so far removed from all that stuff. And it kind of got me in trouble a lot. My mother got me in trouble, back then and now. But I also realized it was one of the things where, I had big, big dreams. And what was a big, big thing for me is my dad, my father was an alcoholic, but also he was one of those guys that came up from Georgia, a little small town, Edison, Georgia, worked his way up, got a factory, and created a life for us. But at the same time, he was a little jealous. He looked at y'all didn't work as hard as I did. Y'all didn't do the things that I did to get where I'm from.
Right.
Y'all really experienced life. It was one of them things.
Okay.
And so he was always he never liked sports. My father hated sports.
Okay.
He would always want me to go to the Army. My mother was super religious, which at the time, going to church, I wasn't allowed to go to movies. I wasn't allowed to play sports. I wasn't allowed to dance. I wasn't allowed to listen to secular music. Everything I do today, I was not allowed to do when I was a young man. And so I didn't get to play sports till later, like 9th grade, 10th grade, when they I cajoled them and they kind of my mom got out of the religious stuff a little bit, but it was really, really strict, man. And when I would start talking about that stuff, they were like, we can't even go to the movies. But you're talking about being in entertainment.
Right.
It was hard, man. It was real. I felt like a black sheep. I felt like a guy that was always kind of eyes in the clouds. I'm left-handed. Everybody else was right-handed. I'm drawing. Everybody's like outside playing. They're like, hey man, what is going on? So it's kind of wild because I even have problems, there's family members and different things. A lot of guys counted me out even back then. And now they're like, oh, okay, you did your thing and whatever. But it's one of them things where you never forget that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I always felt like I had something to prove. And that was the part of the reason I got into football. But then also, once I got in entertainment, I knew there was no way back. Like, you gotta understand, when I moved out I retired from the NFL and moved to LA with my wife, we didn't know anybody. we had to start from scratch. And I had my little severance package from the NFL. Wasn't a lot of money. I didn't make a lot of money. Very little. I was a journeyman. Right. So I had to start from scratch, man. My first job in LA was sweeping floors. And there was a point where I thought, and then everybody had counted me out by then. I mean, even there was family members that were like, he had a chance. He blew it. Right. That was the consensus. And it was like, well, yeah, I told you this NFL thing.
Did you have people to say, you know what, man, bro, you in the NFL and you gave that up to come do this?
Yep. First of all, they were looking at like, why you keep getting cut? That was the other thing. Yeah. And it was like, obviously it's not working out. And they was just, it's one of the things where you got a lot of people, family, friends, or so-called friends, waiting for you to fail.
Right.
And that's a big drive.
Yeah.
For me, it was like, I love when you count me out. It was like one of them things where I got to show everyone. My wife, my wife has always been by my side. And there was one time even when she came to me and she was like, Terry, look, she said, we hurting. She said, we ain't got no money. We starving. We got these 2 kids at the time. She was pregnant with my third. And we have 5 total.
Yeah.
And so she was like, what are we going to do if we're struggling like this and it's not working? Then when are we going to go back? Are we going to go back? I said, we are never leaving. I don't care if it happens when we're 99 years old. We are never leaving LA. I promise you this. I said, if we just continue to do this, because this is where I had kind of learned the mistakes I had made in football.
Okay.
And I didn't have another chance on football. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like, man, if I had just studied a little bit more, if I had worked a little bit harder, if I'd have really, really done what I should have been doing. Because that's the thing. You tell yourself you've been doing what you should be doing.
But deep down,
then you eat the cake.
Yeah.
And you hang out.
Right.
And you do that and you stay up too late. And you don't go to bed. And you totally mess your stuff up. You show up late for the job interview and then be like, they didn't want me. They hated me. It's like, no, you showed up late, bro. And I totally had to be honest with myself, man. Start marking off things that I wasn't doing. And I said, okay, what I'm going to have to do, and this is the way I framed everything, even when I was here in LA. I said, imagine, what if I'm sweeping this floor, man? Now, you understand, I'm almost in tears while I'm sweeping this floor because I'm going, dude, my life may never, ever get back to where I saw. Because once you're in the NFL, you at least see it. You see the money. You see the stuff. You're like, man, I'm there. I can touch it.
And then the nice cars and the jewelry. Oh,
you see the cars pulling out the lot. You see the jewelry. You see the people living the life and the press. And then all of a sudden, but it's gone. And it's gone.
Right.
And I said, man, look, okay. I said, imagine if someone was going to give me $1 million to sweep this floor. How would you sweep it? And these are the little bitty mindsets and I remember I was like, okay. I have to imagine I'm going to get $1 million if I sweep this floor correct. Cause I had to play these kind of games with my head in order to get over the depression.
Right.
And I remember sweeping and all of a sudden I forgot about my problems. I forgot about it. In fact, I was doing something about my situation. And I decided to do that about every menial job that I ever had. I was filing papers that fell over in the Veterans Administration, all the papers that fell over in the Northridge earthquake. I'm filing papers. I'm doing this. Then I started doing security for movie sets. But it wasn't like, bodyguard. It was literally, I'm standing outside on the parking lot, watching with a flashlight, watching it. But what I said is, what if someone gave me $1 million to watch this parking lot? I make sure I have my batteries and my flashlight. I iron my clothes. It was a mindset that I said, I'm going to reverse that bad attitude I had in the league that didn't get me where I wanted. I said, now every job I have to treat like that. And what's so crazy is that I started to do everything like that.
Right.
Like every little, it created a habit in me that kept me going. And so it didn't really matter what people said. I felt like I was getting this imaginary reward.
Right.
If I just did a great job.
Right.
I literally, if I just pleased God, that's all I had to do. The depression is real. When you quit football, it's almost like the military. You're trying to figure out what am I now? How am I going to continue this? Now, and I have to say this too, and so many ball players never figured it out, Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, I'm 55. I can count almost 30 people that are dead from the NFL that I played with.
Right.
There ain't even 30 people in my class at high school that passed away.
Right.
But in the NFL, gone. I mean, people that I played, Junior Seau, just the other day, Frank Wycheck. It blows my mind, man. I mean, people that I played with, I'm sitting there like, wait, Steve Hendrickson's gone. Kevin Green is gone. I was Kevin Green's backup. He's gone. And it says there's something to this. And it's usually after they retire and they go through this mindset of what am I right now? And you may never find it.
Right.
And I thank God that I have my wife to help me come back to life, because she was like, Terry, she said, you are bigger than this. You are more than this. You have to understand that this is you are past this. Now, again, there were times when I didn't believe her.
Right.
But it was one of the things where I got so depressed, I got out of shape, and I remember my wife came up behind me, and this was a life-changing moment, man. She came up behind me and pinched my back fat. Now, I was always proud of how I looked. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I said, what you doing? It's okay. It's cute. And I said, hey, ain't nothing back there. She said, oh, it's back here. I said, what in the what? And I remember saying, okay, if I could change my life if I just go back to the gym. Like, and this is the thing, man, I hadn't worked out in a year. I was depressed. I was tired. I walked in the gym and I told them, I said, I want to work out here. And I ain't never paid to work out nowhere.
Right.
And they're like, yo, that's $25 a month. I said, $25 a month? I said, but no, I'm going to work out here. And they said, yeah, it's $25 a month. I remember going, okay, I put my money down and I went in the gym and I was so depressed. I went in, sat on a machine, read a magazine and went home. I said, but I got to come back. I said, make sure I come back 21 days. And I made a promise to myself, just keep coming back. And dude, that turned into 30-something odd years, man. Wow. I'm right here. Like, I never stopped that whole time. But that was what I have to say is these things are what I call incremental. It's not one big giant thing. For me, it was always one little message, one little thing. And when I moved out here, I started trying to get my thing on animation, because I was like, I'm an artist, so I can show you my portfolio. And I had my portfolio in at Disney, at DreamWorks, at Hanna-Barbera, all this stuff. But then at the same time, hand-drawn animation went out the window because Toy Story came out.
Right.
So all of a sudden, they was giving me my portfolio back like, that don't work. And then I got a chance to act. And the rest is history. I did not know that was my destiny. I had no idea. I actually was watching Cube's car on the set of Next Friday. And I was watching all these guys walking around this movie set as a security guard. Right. And Cube would walk by every day and I'd watch his car. I was like, yes, Mr. Cube, how are you, Mr. Cube? He'd be like, yeah, what's up, man? Walk by like, we just watch the car. And then all the way to being in the next movie, Friday After Next.
Right.
Which gave me my shot, which really blew me up, which, just being close, being it. A lot of times for me, it was just showing up.
Right.
And being open to it, because here it is. I didn't even know this was my destiny.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'd never told anybody that I wanted to act.
Right.
I was trying to be a filmmaker and do all this stuff, but it's unbelievable, man. I mean, first of all, this is the thing. People always measure success by, oh man, this was the first round pick. He's the big height. He's the guy. And then you know what? They measure success from people who are good to great.
Right.
But to me, the true measure of success has always been how long your journey was.
Right.
Meaning it was horrible to great.
Right.
You know what I mean? Listen, when I look at what Flint, Michigan is right now, and I look at where I came from, and I look at the friends, the people I came with, and how they ended up, and how so many people fell to the side. I just go, man, and I'm still here. Not only am I still here, I'm thriving. I have to look at the whole journey. I got to look at how far I came, as opposed to, oh man, yeah, I'm good. I'm here now, and I want this and that. But I realized, man, I am one in a million.
Right.
And this is where the gratitude comes from.
Sure.
Here I am, 1995. I'm on the Washington Redskins. There was a little bit. There was a time when they had the depth chart sitting up there and the whole thing, and it was right before the camp. Right after camp, and they said, "Congratulations, you made the team." And it's Monday of the week where you're about to get ready for the first game, and I'm going, "Oh my God, this is it! This is it!" I tell my wife, we celebrate. We went through the cut down days and the whole weekend. It's Monday. We go to practice. I practice all day. My wife, while I'm in practice, she checking my kids into school because we had to wait until I found out if I made the team.
Right.
Right? And this was not 95, it was 96. And here I am, Norv Turner's the coach, and I'm like, I'm so happy we made it. I go to practice. I go home. I'm tired. I come home. And they say, "Hey, man, come back up to Redskin Park and bring your playbook." Wait, I had signed my kids in the school. I said, "Wait, but I went through the whole cut down."
Right.
Bruh. I said, "Wait a minute, y'all joking. Somebody playing with me." Like Monday, I'm preparing for the week.
Right.
Brought my playbook up there. They said, "We're gonna let you go, man." On that Tuesday, which is the NFL day off, they brought another linebacker from another team. And I was sitting out there the whole time. And I was gone. That level of pain, and my wife is looking, and she's like, "But I thought we made it, babe." Dude, I get choked up thinking about it right now, man. My kids are like, "So I can't go to this school?" I'm like, we're gonna work something out. Dude, I sat the whole year. Didn't get picked up. Tried to find ways to make it work. Nothing. Dude, you talking about a level of like, and then I was stuck in the city where I got cut from, because you can't just hop up and leave. I'm there with my family. I'm moving with my parents.
Right.
And so I'm watching the friends are like, "Hey man, yeah." I'm calling, "Hey guys, what y'all doing?" And they're like, "We got a game." Wow. Okay. Yeah, I can't hang with them no more. So I'm lonely, man. And it's just me and my wife sitting in the town waiting for what's next. Bruh, that's something that is never really talked about. That so many players, because the sacrifice is you've been there for a whole year. Remember, you don't get your money till the game.
Right.
So I spent 6 months on $200 a week to work out. And just knowing, just giving, you risk everything so you can make it, and so you can at least get that game check.
Right.
And I didn't get that.
When you knew, man, it's over for me. I'm done.
But wait,
the stress on your family, you is one thing, but you got wife and kids, T.
But wait, I put her through it one more time because I got a tryout with the 49ers. And I said, but you chase it.
Right.
You chase it. Hey, man, it's like a drug.
It is. It absolutely.
It really is, man. It's one of them things where you're like, I'm this close. And man, I went and got a tryout with the 49ers, and I remember this coach threw the ball at me. And for some reason, he was about me to you, man. He went, woo! I stuck my hand up, boom, and my finger was pointing downward. And I was like, yo! And I knew it was dislocated. I popped it back in. It was swelled up like a sausage. And I fumbled around that tryout, man. That's when I knew it was over. Like, when I'm running around there and I'm going, what am I doing? What am I doing? This is it. I don't have it no more. Like, I don't know if I can summon the strength to go through this again, you know? And that was it. And then my wife, because now, I got to go all the way back to college when I was dating my wife. I told her, we were sitting at a Wendy's parking lot. We were sitting in the Wendy's. They had little places in the front where we sit there. And I said, look, first I'm going to play in the NFL. Then we're going to move to Hollywood. We're going to make movies. I made that promise. You see, because I always talk.
Right.
And that's what got on everybody's nerves. Right. Okay, they was like, he talking again.
Yeah.
But I told her, I said, that's what we're going to do. We're going to play in the NFL. Then we're going to move to Hollywood and make movies. She was like, okay. When I came home from that audition, from that tryout, she looked at me and she said, remember when you said we're going to move to Hollywood and make movies? You ready?
Wow.
Yes. You see that right there? When I talk about somebody who's down with you, she said, remember when you said that? Let's go, man. And I said, you serious? You serious? She said, let's go.
Right.
We was in a little townhome that we had rented from another player, no furniture in it, just trying to see what's next. We loaded everything in our truck. I had an old Nissan Pathfinder at the time. We loaded everything, put our 2 girls in the back, and drove straight out to California. Didn't know anybody. She was so gentle with it. Like, because again, with me, going, like I said, we lived out of suitcases, man, being packing and moving and she was like, honey, are you doing everything you're supposed to do? Right. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm supposed to do what I'm supposed to do. But
did she ever tell you, Terry, I don't think you putting your heart into it. I don't think you putting everything.
She was gentle with it. She's like, well, shouldn't you be doing, I noticed you're not doing this kind of thing. She would always kind of be real with me. And I was like, no, I'm doing enough. But again, as male arrogance and the whole thing, and I'm the man in the family. Right. I know what I'm doing. She knew. She was watching. But finally, she saw how broke I was after that 49er tryout. She was like, babe, your dream.
You was mentally defeated. Huh?
I was done, dude. Like, when I say done, I think she just saw it in my face. Like, everything in it was like, and this is the thing where most players hit. No matter how high it got.
Right.
When it's time to go, very few get some kind of parade. You know what I mean? You get kind of kicked out. You kind of like, all of a sudden you just disappear.
The getting in is easy. It's the getting out that's hard.
It's hard, man.
Especially when you don't leave on your terms.
Oh, and how many ever get to do that?
No.
Tom Brady might, but Barry Sanders did.
Yeah.
That's where everybody looked at him like, what? This man just decided it on his own?
Right.
But usually it's injury. Usually it's cut. Usually they want one more shot and they're not getting it.
Right.
Man, that's some pain, man. The biggest thing is humility. Humility. It's really, really hard. And this is one thing. Sweeping floors humbled me. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a breaking that you have to go through. Because there was a long time I wouldn't do that.
Right.
And I was like, hey man, I'm too proud for this. And what would everybody think if they see me sweeping the floor?
Right.
And my wife was like, they don't know you. Nobody knows you. You wasn't that popular, But in my head,
right,
I'm this. Right. Everybody knows me as this. And man, let me tell you something, Shannon. Now I've been doing Hollywood for 20-something odd years, and what blew me away is perspective. And this is what I want to tell any young person coming up. Perspective. First of all, I've been to Korea. Korea don't care nothing about the NFL. They don't know anything about it.
Right.
I was looking for scores, couldn't find them. I went to South Africa, looking for the NFL scores. They're like, what are you talking about? It's rugby over here, bro. I said, okay. I've been to Hong Kong. I don't care about no NFL. Then I'll go to Europe. And I'm going, okay, well, how about it? What do y'all think about it here? They're like, it's okay. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Then I realized, wait a minute. In my head, it's this gigantic beast. And it is in America.
Right.
But I said, the rest of the world, when I went to South America, they don't care. I went to Brazil, they don't care about the NFL. And I said, dude, you gotta understand, it's a big, big world. And there's so much out there that's for you. And you have to find it. You have to find it. And this is what I would tell every young man, is that there's something bigger than the league for you.
Right.
You have to find it though. But that's a hard belief. It's like when everything, and you spent your whole life 24/7 being this thing, and you have to flip it, and all of a sudden it means nothing anymore. That's where the humility comes in.
Yeah, because I think so many people find the NFL is who they are.
Yep.
And because it's who they are and not what they did,
yes,
it's hard to separate because you think, no, you're not. No,
this is why, again, man, this is why I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of Mike Strahan. I'm proud of players that have come out and have literally realized, wait a minute, I'm bigger than this. Wait, man, you bigger than the game. That's what I have to tell this to every NFL player. You are bigger than the game. The game needs you, not the other way around. But you have this belief because your mind gets played with a lot.
Right.
It's the manipulation is real. Mm-hmm. You know, that's one of the things that makes you get in the NFL. Most of these players been manipulated since college. You know what I'm saying? So you trained in that.
Right.
And so when you wake up and realize, wait, it's a whole nother world out here, but a lot of cats don't believe it.
Right.
And this is where I've seen cats commit suicide by overeating, or suicide by putting a gun on themselves, right, or suicide by drinking, suicide by whatever. I mean, they have the hardest times, right, because they think the whole world is thinking of them as this. And if you just switch it and turn it around, it's a new future. And this is one thing I want every man out there to know, is that you worth it. Mm-hmm. Because you can discount yourself, like, oh man, it wasn't no thing, it ain't no thing. But this is the thing. How I had to look at myself. I have a little picture of myself when I was 10 years old on my desk. And I said, man, what if somebody had messed with that little kid? What would you do? That's you. Mm. Take care of you. Take care of you. Really, don't let nobody treat that little boy like he's worth less. Because that little boy is me. Wow. And that's the same thing. I think every man needs to understand who he really, really is. And the thing is, doesn't mean beating people up. Right. Doesn't mean swinging a bat, shooting up the place. Doesn't mean driving a car through the center of the thing. It means, hey man, you can't do that. No. Standing up and taking your voice, and that's your story. And I stood with let me say, I was inspired by all these women that came forward. That was like, hey, me too. This happened to me. This happened to me. And you know what? I cannot count the number of men that came forward. And it was like, man, wrestlers, NFL players, all this. They was like, you know, that happened to me. And they would come out. I would never tell people to make their stuff public. Right. I would never, ever say it. But you got to tell a counselor, a friend, somebody, so that you can get past this. And I was just in the public eye, and I had that skill and ability to deal with it in the public because I'm always public. And the thing is, too, man, there's another thing I had to learn, and that the NFL taught me that I had to unlearn: competing. I decided to never compete with people. This was my problem. Because they call it the sin of comparison. Right. When I'm looking at what you got and comparing what I got, it's always going to be a problem. Yeah. Always. Right. Because you always going to come up short. Yeah. Yes. Somebody always got more. Right. And then somebody always got less, but you always want more. Right. And I realized, man, that creativity was the exact opposite of competition. Right. If I'm being creative, I'm not competing. So I decided, you know what? Because everybody was like, hey man, you gotta, you gotta be like Tiny, you gotta be this, you gotta blah, blah, blah. I was like, no. I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be me. And they was like, yeah, but you kind of weird. I said, yeah, I am. That's what made me unique. I am. All right. Listen, first of all, you can't even, it got to the point where we read scripts now that we want a Terry Crews type. Because they know that's just me. Right. And I decided by just being creative, that was my ticket out of that world of competition. Because this is the thing, man. The league is always, it's got to be competition. It's like, hey man, you versus so-and-so. Right. You wait. First of all, you got to fight the people in your own locker room first. Yeah. Before you even go up against another team. You know what I mean? And then you always being judged like, well, you missed a step and, did you miss that? He didn't. Right. The coaches would never, they will always tell you what you messed up on. Right. And then being black, we would go into the locker room and if you hurt, they act like, you act like you don't want to play. I'll say, hey man, first of all, the white kids get hurt and they're like, yeah, he's hurt. Right. But I've never ever treated any black guy I knew in the locker room like he was really hurt. Wow. Like he was trying to cut out on the game. I saw Q probably about a month ago. And I walked up to him, man. I said, dude, thank you. Thank you. I said, you have no idea how many careers you started just by giving us that shot.
Right.
A lot of people never, ever really give props what props is due. You know, because they're like, well, I didn't get that much money, but dude, that was my start.
Yep.
Well, listen, I was
You
in a
just
little
wanted the
bitty
opportunity.
cubicle. Man, I was just thankful. I was walking around. And listen, and what was so crazy is me and Katt was homeless at the time.
Wow.
So Katt was living in his trailer. And me and Katt said, hey, man, and I remember talking to Katt, I said, Katt, I said, we never get another opportunity. We got to make sure they remember us. I said, because we the two new cats in this whole thing. They know everybody else.
Right.
I said, but it's me and you. And remember, man, I was not going to let what happened in my football career happen to my entertainment career.
Man, I'm listening to you tell the story, T. And the way you telling the story, football never gave you the high that what you got by just doing that.
Exactly. I knew I was in my destiny. When I say, and this is what I'm saying, I found my destiny. I was gone. When people see that scene in Friday After Next, look, you turn the sound down, it ain't a comedy.
Right.
We was crying.
Right.
We were deep. They was so in it. He was crying, I was crying. People were sitting by the monitors like, what are we looking at right now? Because I was so gone in it, and I said, this is where, and then it was so wild because I didn't even want money anymore. I said, I want that feeling again. You know, you know what I mean? It's too, because you could talk about athletes and money and all that stuff, but there's a point when I'm sure when you just catching and doing everything right, you want to chase that again. They call it the zone. They call it what it's just flow, whatever that is. And let me tell you, you know when I hit that flow again? When I was doing White Chicks. That movie, White Chicks. Everything I said just flowed.
Friday Up Next, White Chicks came off of.
Well, it came after that.
Right.
Because again, you're talking about the Black Hollywood is very small. And once Friday After Next hit, people were like, this dude. And so what was so great is Keenan Ivory Wayans was like, hey man, we got to get this dude a shot.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they're like, man, we want some of that on us. And it kept, on all my business, Shannon, in this town has been repeat business. I mean, the reason I was with all these Sandler movies, Adam Sandler called me. But the thing is, when I did Longest Yard, which was my revenge on the NFL,
Right.
me and Michael Irvin, the whole movie, I was like, this is the one everybody gonna remember. Like, good God, like, who gets that?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I remember Chris Rock was like, hey man, he's on the movie, Longest Yard. He said, dude, you killing, I got something for you. I said, what is it? He said, don't worry about it, I got something for you. I go home, the script for Everybody Hates Chris is literally on my doorstep. I open that up. He's like, I want you to play my dad. Because he saw me and my wife and my two kids out there in Santa Fe, New Mexico, when we was filming Longest Yard. He was watching. And that's the thing you got to remember, everybody is watching. Everybody is watching. And so then I played Chris's dad and Everybody Hates Chris for 4 years straight. Man, when I look at my life, man, I just thank God for every opportunity. And now this is another thing, because I'm now reached the point, because I play with all these guys and they're gone. Now I'm losing actors. Man, Andre Bauer passed away last week. And he took me under his wing, man. You talk about one of the best actors.
Right.
Of our generation.
Right.
I mean, Juilliard trained, absolutely incredible, Emmy Award winning, dramatic beast.
Right. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Correct.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, who was able to come and flip it to a comedy like that. And I was like, man, what is the secret? And this is another thing, he was like a super all-pro who could have looked down on all of us, but decided he was just gonna pull us all up with him. 61 years old. He was like my big brother.
Right.
I look at guys that are dying. When I look at Michael Clark Duncan's gone. Tiny Lister, gone. Lance Reddick, gone. And I'm like, Chadwick Boseman, gone. We did a movie Draft Day together. Okay? And I'm going, man, you don't have forever. You don't. you gotta go for it. You got to get what you are come to get now. And you can't waste time. You can't treat it like, well, I'll, whatever.
Tomorrow.
Because I seen it in the NFL. And everybody thought, and this is the thing, everybody had determined certain people that already won. Like, I won life, he won. You know, people say, hey, won the internet, whatever. It ain't never over it. It's never how you start. It's how you finish.
Right.